when would you say the peak of fame was for Hulk Hogan? What year would you say was like the ultimate peak?
Well, it's hard to say because I had we call everything a run. Like, how long's your show going to be on the air? That's a run. Is it going to be 6 months
Makes
or
sense.
60 years?
Sure.
How long are you going to be married? How long's your run? Are you going to be married for 4 years or for a lifetime?
Totally get it.
So in wrestling, it was, how long is your run going to be? So my first run where we kind of took over the world was the night I beat the Iron Sheik in Madison Square Garden, January 23rd, 1984. The political storm, the landscape couldn't have been greater for the storyline.
Wow.
Because the Iron Sheik was actually the real bodyguard for the Shah of Iran. Cosgo Lazari was his real name. He was the actual bodyguard, and at that time, Iran was holding 444 American hostages at that time. So you had this real American hero, Hulk Hogan, the character, going against the Sheik of, the Iron Sheik. And once I beat him, Hulkamania took off, and it was this crazy run. We brought in, well, you saw it on TV. We brought in Cyndi Lauper, MTV jumped all over it. We had Liberace, Muhammad Ali, every celebrity you could see wanted to be part of it. I'd go wrestle in LA, and you have Gene Hackman, Farrah Fawcett, Lee Majors fighting for front row seats. I'd go to Detroit, you have Iacocca and Edsel Ford, and everybody wanted seats. So it was crazy. But it's so hard to say which was, the bigger run, because right after that, Vince and I had a little blowout. After about 10 or 12 years, I went to work for Ted Turner for 10 years.
That's the Bischoff, right? Eric Bischoff?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had the black beard, and I became Hollywood Hogan, the bad guy. And the more evil and the horrible stuff I did, the more people cheered me. So the worse I got, and the nastier I got, and the meaner I got, and the evil as I could be, the people cheered me. Because I had this built-in following of people that they thought it was cool, that I was spray painting the belt and spray painting all Ted Turner's trucks and the TV trucks. It was just nuts. So that second run, like I said, the second run took off almost as good as the first one, but I would have to go back to digress and kind of contradict myself and say that first run, when we first took off with the red and yellow, it was so positive, we changed the whole landscape of wrestling.
So that was bigger than NWO. You're saying the first one was bigger.
I'm not saying it was bigger. It was the first time it happened, so it was more exciting.
When was it where you couldn't go outside? You're like, I'm sure it happened early, because it's like Shaq walking outside. You're going to spot the guy. He can't go anywhere because he's 7'1". But you're a big guy. But when was it where you're like, something's going on?
Well, the first time I really became real aware of it, people kept saying, oh my gosh, you don't realize how big Hulk Hogan is, this Hulkamania thing. I was just working. I had my head down. All I cared about was working. And it hit me really big when John Stossel from 2020 wanted to talk to me, and he goes, the headline of the New York Post says, Jackie O or Mr. T or whoever, I can't remember the names they said, but Jackie O and somebody else can walk down the streets of New York, but Hulk Hogan can't. So John Stossel came to find out if that was true. So John Stossel came, and as we were walking down the street in New York, he wanted to put me out in front of Madison Square Garden. I said, no, don't do that. We'll get killed. Take me over to Fifth Avenue, where there's not a bunch of wrestling fans. As soon as I get out of the car at Fifth Avenue, we got mobbed. And all of a sudden, as we got mobbed, that was when the first time I realized that this wrestling had gone mainstream, that this Hulk Hogan character had crossed these imaginary boundaries and became a media star, not just a wrestling star. So that's when it really hit me the first time.
And what was there a moment where you're being invited to parties and you're like, I can't believe I'm at a party like this? What were some of the moments and who you got a chance to meet where for the first time you were even starstruck? You say, I can't believe I'm meeting Michael Jackson or Michael Jordan, whoever some of these names are. Or maybe you never experienced that.
Oh, I did. And both, it's kind of like two trains of thought you just hit me with. The first time, I kind of like freaked out. I met tons of celebrities, met a lot of people. Michael Jackson met a lot of people, and this is kind of weird. But the first time I really freaked out and started shaking and got nervous, and the only person that's ever happened was when I met Jerry Springer. I was a huge Jerry Springer fan, okay? I was a huge, because
he just passed away, I think, a few months ago or last year.
Yeah, so I was a huge Jerry Springer fan. But the thing that really shocked me with the celebrity thing, I was sitting at the Twin Towers one day with my wife at Vince's birthday party, and this cop comes up and taps me on the shoulder. And I said, yes, sir. Now I'm sitting with my wife, right? And the guy goes, oh, Cher sent her limo for you. It's downstairs. She wants you to come over and have dinner with him. I go, what? Cher? What are you talking about? No, the Cher, the singer. I didn't, I said, get out of here. What are you talking about? But, it's kind of weird because she thought she'd just send a car and I'd jump in and come running over there. And then another time.
Did you go or you didn't go?
No, brother, come on. No, but I was with my wife. I wouldn't do that anyway.
Oh, wait. She didn't want to have dinner with you and your wife. She just wanted to have
sent the car for me.
This is kind of like when Madonna went to Antonio Banderas when he's married. He's like, hey, can I spend some time with you tonight? Something like that. I got you.
There's another one. When Madonna put that book out, the S&M book, I can't remember what they called it. She had a party in New York City. And I was at the Garden that night. She sent a car to pick me up to come to her party. And once again, I was with my wife, and I'm not doing that stuff. But yeah, so, those things catch you off guard. And that's when you kind of realize that the characters like cross these.
How's your wife reacting to this at the time? What is she saying? Babe, what is this? Like
at the time, she was kind of used to it,
Oh, she was used to it.
I've been married. This is my third marriage.
I understand.
I'm talking about my first marriage.
Wife. I'm talking first marriage. First marriage is kind of like, nobody's used to it, right? She's not even used to it.
But she was kind of around, like I started wrestling in 77, so she came into the picture about 81 or 82, so she was used to seeing the craziness.
Got it. So
it was just another wacko situation that we were getting hit with every day.
Got it. Now, at the time, who were you a fan of that you wanted to get a hold of, that you told your management team, you're like, hey, can you get a hold of XYZ? I'd like to have dinner with them. I'd like to meet this person. Did you approach anybody?
No, I've never done that.
You've never done that?
No.
So, okay, so it wasn't, were you saying, I'd like to meet Michael, I'd like to meet, the president, I'd like to go to the White House, I'd like to get on Air Force One, nothing like that?
No.
Is that just not part of your personality, or was it?
No, not really. I've never been like that with people.
You're going to think I'm crazy when I tell you this, but the last 13 and a half years, I've been working on my first fiction book to write, ever. Fiction book to write. And while I finished this book, a year ago, I got the strangest phone call about one of the characters in the book where the guy wanted to meet with me, and he read the book. And afterwards, is like, wait a minute, am I the villain in the book? This is a story about a character named Asher, who is half Armenian, half Assyrian, whose father was involved in the Iranian Revolution, linked to Savak, working with the Shah, that they escape and he gets recruited to a secret society. When you go to the secret society, it's been around for a couple thousand years. They've developed some of the craziest leaders of all time. And they test you. There's unique tests that they have at this society where they test to see your emotional mental toughness. One of the tests that they have is very rigorous. It's purely mental. Of course, there's a physical one, but one is mental and emotional. If you're Armenian, if you're Syrian, if you're Persian, this is a book you're going to be reading and saying, holy moly, this is the kind of stuff you talk about in here? Yes. If you're somebody that's fascinated by history, this is a book for you. Characters. There's a technology that this society, secret society, builds where you go into a vault. I won't spoil it for you. When you go down, they have a technology where you get to sit down and watch and have a 3-4 hour conversation with Tupac. You can set up a debate between Karl Marx and Ayn Rand. Karl Marx is in the book, who wrote Communist Manifesto. Ayn Rand, who wrote Atlas Shrugged, is in the book. Marilyn Monroe explains the concept of seduction and sex in the book. When you read the book, it's about development of the next leaders in the world and how they do it and how they've been doing it for many years. And it's also about how to prevent the end of civilization and how this organization goes about doing it. So, I've never written a parenting book before, but if I ever wrote a parenting book, this is the closest thing to it because it's all mindset, a lot of crazy stories. Again, 13 and a half years. Trust me, I told myself I will not publish this book until I sell my insurance company and I'm fully disconnected from it, where it's no longer my responsibility 100%. When you read this, if you're a creative person, if you like fiction books, if you enjoyed Atlas Shrugged, or if you enjoy Divergent, if you like books like that, I think you're going to enjoy reading this book. It's the creative side. Business books is very easy. Here's how you do it. Here's how this how it works. This is very creative. If you haven't placed the order yet, now you can order it on Simon & Schuster, Amazon. I'm going to put the link up below somewhere here, maybe even in my profile. Go order the book and read it. I sincerely, I've never written a book where I can't wait to read your reviews to see what you think about this book. So I'm going on this wild journey, and we have some plans with this book here. If you support the things that I work on, I would appreciate you going and reading the book, order the book on Amazon, and then post a review.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.